Namaskar and welcome to Sunset Television. I am Vishal Dahiya and you're watching the first episode of our new presentation In Focus, where we bring you detailed analysis of key issues which are in focus or which are being talked about and discussed. Today, we will take up the issue of Karnataka, the Karnataka Assembly elections, battleground Karnataka for all political parties. Now, from campaigning and roadshows to political showdowns and candidate selections, political parties are going all out to woo voters in the southern state of Karnataka. The electoral battle in Karnataka hit a feverish pitch, with Election Commission announcing schedule for assembly polls last week. Now, voting in the state will take place in single phase on 10th of May and counting of votes will happen on 13th of May. With 224 seats, Karnataka Assembly is the 7th largest legislative assembly by strength in the country. BJP, Congress and JDS are the three main players in Karnataka in 2023 assembly elections, with BJP being the ruling party. Congress has so far announced the candidates for 166 out of the total 224 seats in its first two lists. Janata Dal Secular, that is JDS, had announced its list of 93 candidates in December last year. Their next list is still awaited. And BJP's Central Election Committee met on Sunday evening to finalize candidates and is likely to release its list of candidates very soon. Now, in the 2018 assembly polls, the state of Karnataka witnessed a fractured mandate, with BJP emerging as the single largest party with 104 seats, followed by Congress with 87 seats, while the JDS won 30. Being the single largest party, BJP, led by B.S. Yediyurappa, formed the government, but BSY resigned minutes before facing the trust vote in the assembly. After this, Congress and JDS coalition government, led by H.D. Kumaraswamy, lasted for just 14 months. BJP then returned to power with BSY at the helm, who later made way for Baswaraj Bommai in July 2021. So today, we'll discuss and analyze the political situation in the state, the election issues in the state, and also the major aspects which we should be looking at for these assembly polls in the state of Karnataka. Very crucial election for all political parties, all the three major players, BJP, Congress and the JDS as well. We'll try and understand what their strategies are, what their tactics are, and what are they planning to do to win this election. Now, for more on this, we're joined by a distinguished panel of experts. Let me first introduce them to you, beginning with Mr. Ganpati Subramanian, joining us here. Senior journalist, keeps a close watch on the happenings down south. Akhilesh Kumar Singh is also with us, political editor with the Times of India. We're also joined by two more panelists. Another senior journalist, Shekhar Iyer, is joining us. And Sanjay Kumar, director, CSTS, is also with us. Welcome, all of you gentlemen, to Sunset Television. Let me begin with you, Akhilesh and Ganpati. I'll start with you, Akhilesh. Let's first start by understanding, the political landscape in Karnataka, the electoral landscape. I gave out some figures vis-a-vis 2018 elections, but those are the figures which everybody knows. What is it that, a common man, a general person, a layman audience should know about Karnataka politically and electorally to keep a close watch on these assembly polls?
See, there is a challenge for BJP because there has been a trend in Karnataka. No party has returned to power since 2089. I think. So there is a challenge for BJP because although they have formed the government, even in 2018, they did not get the full majority, despite becoming the single largest party. So there is a challenge for them. There have been talks about anti-incumbency, some issues of corruption also. But yes, later on they have taken some steps, which I think now BJP is expecting that they are better placed compared to what they used to be 3-4 months ago. And the most important and decisive step they have taken is the restructuring the quota structure in the state, because the additional 2% is to the most dominant castes, Vokaligas and Lingayats, which has been additionally given to them, is definitely going to play a key role in favor of BJP.
Okay.
So, and yesterday they have met, this Central Election Committee has held its first meeting in presence of PM Modi. And there is a possibility that list will be announced either today or tomorrow. 170 to 180 seats in very first list they are likely to announce. So, I think BJP camp is more confident now compared to what they used to be 3-4 months ago.
Okay, okay. Ganpati, what's your overview of the situation? The election, the state is heading into the assembly polls and all eyes there on Karnataka.
Absolutely. Karnataka is a very cosmopolitan state. You know, one part of Karnataka, known as Hyderabad, Karnataka, another part of Karnataka is known as old Mysuru region, because that Mysuru region borders Tamil Nadu. Even Bangalore is very close to Chennai, etc. And Hassan and all these areas form one part. Then there is another part which is towards the north of Karnataka, which is the Maharashtra border, the border with Maharashtra. The culture of that area is distinctly different. Then we have the eastern Karnataka, which is close to the Andhra speaking states. So therefore, you cannot take Karnataka as one, region which will vote in a similar way. Each region of Karnataka will vote in a different way. Even the languages they speak, the culturally, I mean, everywhere there is a lot of distinct flavor in each and every part of Karnataka. So therefore, this election will be a sum of these parts, how each and every party will fare. For example, the JDS considers the Mysuru region to be its stronghold. Mysore, Kolar, Hassan, all these areas. So they always manage to find about 25-30 seats despite all the competition between the Congress and the BJP. Similarly, the Congress has its strongholds, then the BJP has its strongholds, then there is the whole coastal belt, Mangalore area. So a party which manages to pull its forces together in all these regions will finally make a victory in this election. And that is why we saw that in the previous election, there was nobody who was able to win the election, and there was a hung assembly.
It was a hung assembly, a fractured mandate, which I was talking about, and after that, we saw a lot of political, fluid situation, which we witnessed in Karnataka. Governments changing. Even when BJP came back to power, the chief minister was changed in 2021. If I'm not wrong, Mr. Bombay took over as chief minister in 2021. So the BJP is heading into election led by Basuraj Bommai as the outgoing chief minister. Let me bring in Mr. Shekhar Iyer here as well. Shekhar, would you agree to what Akhilesh was pointing out earlier in his response, that it is a big challenge for the BJP because of several factors, but the most important one being that no political party seemingly has made a consecutive comeback to power in Karnataka in past 2-3 decades?
Definitely. And also the fact that, for quite a few years we have seen, no party has been able to cross that magic figure of 130, which is the simple majority required to form the government. See, invariably what happens, you have a very bitter campaign. And after that, we have seen it happening in 2018, we saw. So then, which parties can come together to get that magic figure and stake claim to form the government. In 2018, even before the results came out, you saw Congress and JDS shaking hands and all the opposition leaders landing up in Bangalore, holding their hands up high to signify a new opposition unity. This time, that experiment between which saw JDS and Congress together, that left a lot of bitter feelings on both sides, because Siddaramaiah was not very happy with the way Kumaraswamy was running the government. And similarly, the Janata Dal secular leaders were not happy with the kind of the cooperation they were not getting from the Congress. So and JDS has had experiences both with the BJP also. You had that very peculiar situation where the chief ministership was by rotation. 2.5 years Kumaraswamy, and when the turn came to hand over to Yediyurappa, JDS backed out. So the real problem of Karnataka politics or the KA is that no party is able to get a complete mandate so that there can be a stable arrangement. Now, this time, Congress definitely feels it is in an advantageous situation, though it has several internal problems. But the overall feeling is that Congress is an advantage, and Congress has always had 35% stable vote. It has always been getting, whether it is able to form government or not. So that is one factor. The second factor is, just now Akhilesh ji mentioned about the anti-incumbency issues. Because the manner in which Yediyurappa became chief minister after the collapse of Kumaraswamy government, lot of people came from Congress and JDS, and those people will have to be accommodated in this list, which will be released this evening or tomorrow. So the turncoats, as we call them, and then the original BJP leaders who have been waiting for a long, all these factors makes it a case of very big challenge for the BJP.
Okay.
But what is the plus point is the BJP has tried to do some social engineering of sorts. One, they have focused a lot on the backward caste. They have also, taken a decision to, abolish the Muslim quota, which is again a very big issue in this election. And they have increased the quota for Vokalingas and as well as
Lingayats.
for the Lingayats. So BJP is trying all its strategies. Now, question is, the focus this time is going to be more on JDS also, because JDS is hoping, and JDS leaders are getting good crowd. As Gadapati was mentioning, that old Mysore region, basically the Vokalinga belt, they have a traditional loyalty towards the former Prime Minister H.D. Devagowda and his family, and JDS is a totally family run. But even within JDS, there is a problem between the elder brother Revanna and the younger brother Kumaraswamy. Their families are fighting over ticket also. So every party has got some advantage. Every party is facing some disadvantage.
Okay.
So here, and Prime Minister Modi also has a traction in Karnataka. Last time, Prime Minister Modi was able to give some push. People generally say that a few percentages are added to BJP share when Prime Minister Modi undertakes a very aggressive campaign in Karnataka.
Okay.
So we have to see, after the tickets are released and the names are announced, how many rebels are there in the field, how many independents are there in the field, because every party is facing this problem. So this campaign will also determine what will be the final tally and how the mood swings.
Okay.
As Ganapati mentioned, the regions are different, particularly the coastal region is highly polarized. Issues like hijab, issues like abolition of Muslim quota, the ban on PFI. I mean, there are several factors at work this time in Karnataka.
Okay, fair enough. We'll come to all those issues as well later in the show, and of course, talk about Vokalinga and Lingayat equation in the social engineering part as well. But staying focused on the political parties here, and then how they fared well. Sanjay, I'd like to bring you in here. I mentioned about the 2018 numbers, but if you could take us through how they've performed, these three major political players. Over the course of various elections, when we are talking about, the vote percentage, the number of voters they've been able to attract, and which has been later translated in terms of seats as well. How does that tally shows up?
Vishal, it is very clear, and it has been already mentioned by other panelists, that if you look at the vote share of Congress over last, say, 4 or 5 elections, Congress always has got roughly about 35% vote. So we can say for a lot of surety that Congress has a support base of 35%. BJP has always remained behind Congress vote share. BJP's vote share has always been less compared to Congress vote share. Though there have been elections like 2018 elections and 2008 assembly elections when BJP won more seats compared to Congress, and the difference has been in the range of say 30 to 40 seats. If we look at the vote share of JDS is only, the JDS support base is only limited to the southern Karnataka region. But in that region, they normally get 35-36% vote, which is good enough for them to win a sizable number of seats from southern Karnataka region. If we look at the JDS performance over last several elections, JDS entire state, they get roughly about 19-20% vote. So if we look at the overall trend across, say, last 2 decades, we can say for a great degree of surety that JDS has kind of 20% vote share, and they always manage to win in the range of, say, if one end is 27-30 and the other range is about 40-45 seats. So JDS has always been getting 30-35 seats. The influence of JDS is limited to southern Karnataka. So it is a triangular contest. But not in the entire state we see a triangular contest. Southern Karnataka, the contest is largely between Congress and JDS. But in other regions, the contest is largely between BJP and Congress. So that's kind of 35, 30, 20. And the rest takes away the rest of the vote. Okay. That's the kind of support base if we look at the electoral history of Karnataka for the last 20 years.
Okay, fair enough. Now, with those numbers, which Sanjay ji mentioned, Ganpati, let's also try and understand a few aspects here. Do you believe with those numbers again, that, and also given the fact, as Shekharji was also pointing out, that, none of the parties have crossed that magical figure mark in the assembly. The JDS still remains in the kingmaker's position? Because it has aligned with both BJP and Congress in the past.
Yeah. The advantage of JDS is JDS has no stakes in national politics. So therefore, they have no difficulty in aligning with the BJP or with the Congress. There is no clash. They are limited only to Karnataka. But the problem is, they will have the role of a kingmaker or the possibility of becoming the king only if they have 30-35 seats.
And that's also interesting. Every time they played a role of kingmaker, they ended up becoming the king only.
Absolutely. See, that is, Deva Gowda ji became the prime minister of this country. Did his party have any sizable number? No, nothing at all. But he still became the prime minister, and it is history that his son became the chief minister of Karnataka without having the numbers. 2018, this is what exactly happened. The Congress wanted to stop the BJP. So they said, let Kumaraswamy become the chief minister. It was a very unnatural kind of a situation. The party with the least number of seats in the assembly had the chief minister's post, and the party with the most number of seats was sitting in the opposition. So naturally, what happened later we saw. Then the Congress and the JDS also allied with each other in the Lok Sabha election 2019. But what happened? They got completely demolished. The BJP took away each and every seat except one seat for the Congress and one seat for the JDS. That was the breaking point. That was what led to the subsequent fall of the Kumaraswamy government and formation of the BJP government. This time also, there is a possibility that we may get a hung assembly with the Congress and BJP close to each other, and the JDS, as you said, being in the role of kingmaker or whatever. But this time, the Congress may not make the mistake of letting JDS become the chief minister and run the government, because both Siddaramaiah and Shiv Kumar both are keen that they become the chief minister.
Okay. Now that's again, an interesting aspect here, Akhilesh Shah. When Shekharji was also talking about, the internal tussle going on between political parties, and this is happening in all three major political outfits. Let's look at Congress now. Siddaramaiah and DK Shiv Kumar. Does it make things more difficult for the Congress or more easier for the Congress that you have, two big leaders?
See, there have been claims from both the factions, even for chief minister's post. DK Shiv Kumar was recently in Delhi, and he also talked about his possibility of becoming the chief minister. It's a known fact. Their differences have also come out, and there has been a lobbying for their respective candidates also. So BJP does have this advantage. Despite changing the leadership, the differences have not come out in public, and I don't think that this is going to harm BJP in any way, because even after changing Yediyurappa as chief minister and appointing Bommai, they have managed to keep the entire family united. Differences have not come out in public. That is because of the central leadership strength, which is different for Congress. I mean, the Modi, Shah, Nadda, they are far more stronger central leaders, and they have that strength to keep the state units in a disciplined way, manage them in a disciplined way. So there is an advantage which has been talked about so many BJP leaders, that Congress is a divided house, and we have managed to keep us united despite this leadership change.
Okay.
Additionally, I'll tell you one thing. Although BJP has not matched the percentage which Congress has got, where they were lacking, the worst performance of BJP has been in South Karnataka, this South Mysore region, because they hardly won 10-11 seats out of 60 seats. This time they have done this social engineering, which is likely to affect even the Vokaliga community. Additionally,
which is the traditional support base of JDS.
And Congress. But they have not only made these social engineering experiments, they have also a few candidates which they had taken from other parties when this change of leadership happened.
Okay.
So it is not only that they have done the social engineering, they have candidates also from background of Congress and JDS.
Okay.
So this time they are hoping to get better results in South Karnataka, which can be a game changer for BJP.
Okay, okay, interesting. Let me bring in Shekhar here as well. Shekhar, would you agree with, or rather, your views there on this aspect, as Akhilesh is pointing out, that is this internal tussle going to become a bigger challenge for the Congress or for the BJP?
No, as far as BJP is concerned, the entire support from the central leadership as well as from Yediyurappa is for Bommai. Basavaraj Bommai took over with the full blessings of Yediyurappa. And Yediyurappa was in turn assured that his son would also be accommodated and he is going to contest from Yediyurappa's traditional seat of Shikaripura.
Okay.
So he is going to be the candidate from there. It is possible that he may be inducted in the government under Bommai. I think the problem for the BJP is, there is also a rush for tickets. So the crisis could, if not properly handled, how many rebels are there? People who feel left out. There are leaders like Ishwarappa. And there are other senior leaders who are saying, okay, if you are not allowing us to contest this election, then give it to our sons. Now, what are they going to do if their sons or their family members don't find their name in the list? That is one problem. Now, as far as Congress is concerned, Vishal, this is the first time I am seeing both Siddaramaiah as well as DK Shivkumar are very openly talking about their ambition and aspiration. See, Siddaramaiah recently said in Bangalore, yes, I am one of the aspirants for Chief Minister's post. And he also acknowledged that DK Shivkumar is also another aspirant. And as Akhilesh ji was mentioning, Shivkumar was here. He met the editors and so many other people to clearly explain why he feels that it is time for him to get a chance, because he had managed the party through COVID period. He has contributed to the party's financial resources. He undertook a lot of role in this Bharat Jodo Yatra of Rahul Gandhi. Now, between these two leaders, Rahul Gandhi seems to be supporting Siddaramaiah. This is the general impression of many Congress leaders.
Okay.
At the same time, Siddaramaiah has at least, if not full support, he has some backing from Priyanka Gandhi. So ultimately, once the Congress has numbers, the issue will be decided.
Interesting. Another interesting aspect here, Shekhar ji, interesting aspect here about Congress is also the fact that the party's national president, Mallikarjun Kharge, is also from the state.
Yeah, but Kharge's role this time, I do not see. One expected that he would play a big part, at least in ticket distribution. But what I gather from the ground is that Kharge has decided to keep a low profile because he feels it is Rahul who will take a final call. Like, for instance, Siddaramaiah wants to contest from two constituencies. He wants to contest also from, he is contesting from Varuna, which was earlier held by his son. And he wants to contest from Kolar, which is being opposed by DK Shivkumar, who is the PCC chief, who is saying that if Siddaramaiah, such a senior leader, is contesting from two seats, it will send a wrong message. But the final call will be taken by Rahul Gandhi. Now, Rahul Gandhi is to address a rally on April 16th in Kolar. Before that, they have to decide whether Siddaramaiah will contest from Kolar. This is one aspect. The other aspect is, where, in terms of ticket distribution also, Shivkumar is insisting on his people getting tickets. Siddaramaiah is also, because they feel post-elections, the leader who has maximum number of MLAs back him has a better chance. But in this, we have to remember the king player, the JDS, Janata Dal Secular. From what I gather, the Janata Dal Secular, see, after all, Siddaramaiah was once a JDS leader. He left because Devagowda was giving importance to Kumaraswamy and joined the Congress. That is not something they have forgotten or forgiven. So if a scenario comes, it is quite possible that JDS may not back Siddaramaiah as Chief Minister. It may be more open to an arrangement with BJP. Now, Shivkumar is also a Vokalinga leader. Now, will JDS help in Siddaramaiah becoming a Chief Minister? See, all this caste consideration all these issues will come to the fore post-elections. Before elections, you are going to see a bitter campaign, every party trying to do its best. But after the elections, there could be a completely different scenario.
Okay. So what you're saying is that the battle in Karnataka might not be over on 13th when the election results come out, but it's interesting. It's going to be really interesting up till 10th of May as well, the day when the polling will take place. The fierce campaigning, which has already begun, the candidate selection, as our panelists were pointing out. We'll take a very short break here, but on the other side of the break, we will dwell into other aspects of this electoral battle, that is social equations, issues which are of real importance to the voters, and what are the parties, planning to promise the voters this time around. Stay tuned.
वाकिफ कहाँ जमाना उनकी उड़ान से, वो और थे जो डर गए आसमान से।
रुकना न तुम जब तक तुम्हारे श्वास का लवलेश है, हिम्मत न हारो ए हृदय, यह साधना का देश है, यह साधना का देश है।
देखना न भूलिए इस बार अपना आसमां में छोटे शहर और बड़े चेहरे।
नाजुक सी लड़की खाती है झिड़की, सबको चौंकाएगी मंजिल जब पाएगी, छू लेगी नीलांबर होकर दबंग, औरत और रंग हरदम है संग।
यहाँ छोटे छोटे शहरों के सपने जो बड़े बड़े शहरों तक आकर लोगों के लिए प्रेरणा बन जाते हैं।
देखिए, आपकी जिंदगी है, रंग आपको भरने हैं, कैसे रंग आपको पसंद है वो आपको पता है। अपना जो ब्रश है वो किसी और के हाथ में ना दें।
इस बार अपना आसमां में छोटे छोटे शहरों से, सोमवार शाम 6 बजे सिर्फ सनसद टीवी पर।
Welcome back. So today in focus is the state of Karnataka, battleground Karnataka rather, the electoral battle which is shaping up in the state for the assembly polls. As we were discussing earlier, the elections for the state assembly are scheduled for 10th of May in one single phase. All political parties are putting their best foot forward. We're trying to understand the strengths and the weaknesses of the political parties, or rather the challenges for them, all three major players. Let's now shift focus to some other aspects of this election, that is the social equation, the issues as well. Let's start with the social equation. And Ganpati, I'd like to start with you, Vokalingas and Lingayats and other OBCs as well. Now, these are very, very major issues in the state, as all of you were earlier referring to as well. Vokalingas being the traditional support base of JDS and Congress, equally divided perhaps. Lingayats traditionally, supporting BJP also. So how's the state, seen as in terms of these social groups or caste groups as well? There are other OBCs also.
Exactly. First of all, minorities. There is about roughly 10% minority vote, which probably will not go to the BJP. So the Congress and the JDS try to get the minority votes. Now the BJP, apart from this quota increase for Vokalingas and Lingayat, what they have done also, they have also increased the quota for SC/ST. That they think that will also bring those sections closer to the BJP. And in terms of Lingayats, there are several mutts which are very influential in their own regions, which political leaders always go there and do pranam before the Gurujis during election time especially. What happens is, for the BJP, the tallest Lingayat leader is Yediyurappa. Even though he had to give up the chief minister's post and he was very unhappy about it, etc., etc., now the BJP has wooed him back, because as far as Lingayats are concerned, the message will go through Yediyurappa ji. Yediyurappa ji is their tallest leader, and BJP says, we respect your representative. So therefore, you have to support us. So that kind of a social equation we see. And as you had pointed out earlier very correctly, JDS has the strength in one particular region, that is the southern Karnataka, and they will concentrate on that. Very important issue that Shekharji pointed out is about the rebels. We don't know how many rebels are going to be there with the Congress and BJP. BJP ka koi list abhi aaye nahi, not even a single list has come out. Congress also sizable number of constituencies, they have to still declare their seats. About 58 seats, they have not released their candidates. JDS has 93 candidates announced, rest they have to announce. My information from insiders in Karnataka is that many rebels from Congress and BJP may contest as JDS candidates. So that will create another kind of social equation. And then finally, recently we saw the Banjara community was very unhappy. They were protesting against Yediyurappa house, etc. It was even attacked. There was some violence because they did not like the quotas being reshuffled. So whether all these will give benefit to the BJP or whether it will backfire because it has been done very close to the election, that we have to see. So therefore, it is multiple kind of complex equations which will finally give end result.
Okay. Akhilesh, how would you, simplify these complex equations which, Ganpati ji is referring to, and all of us are aware, there are several social groups and all political parties who have been in power have tried to manage them accordingly, So this time around, the situation as you see and the role being played by these influential groups.
See, first of all, as far as candidates are concerned, the first list of BJP is likely either today or tomorrow. And what we have learned from these party sources, there might not be many changes on the seats which are incumbents from BJP.
Okay, sitting.
Because, sitting MLAs. The very least change may be some age factor or anti-incumbency, strong anti-incumbency against the candidate. That will be really exception, which used to be a norm of changing 15, 20, 25, 30% candidates.
So that takes care of almost 100 odd candidates.
Yeah. So there is a least possibility of so many changes as far as sitting MLAs are concerned. But yes, the areas, the regions where party has been losing repeatedly, like if you talk about South Karnataka, then there will be new candidates because they have nothing to lose if they are changing the candidates who have lost repeatedly. And even if they turn rebels, and they join other parties, then their assessment is that they are not going to harm their prospects. So this is one calculation they have done. What we have learned, we are not sure what will be the ultimate outcome in as far as the results are, list is concerned. But this is what we have learnt about their strategy. Secondly, if you talk about issues on which BJP is going to elections this time, they have not only done the social engineering, taken care of the most dominant Lingayat and Vokaligas, they have also taken care of, like just you told, about this SC/ST quota. And for that, they have also demanded, I think they have already floated some papers about securing them in 9th schedule. There is a constitutional protection for that. So that initiative has also been taken. Besides, if you look at this year's budget, there was a proper announcement of a huge mammoth Ram temple in Karnataka. Plus, they are talking about 1 trillion economy. So it is a proper mix of everything on which BJP is contesting these polls. So it is not only polarization or social engineering, even the development on which this double engine they keep talking about. That is also a
major issue. We'll come to the issue part as well. It's good that you brought those things in here. But I'd like to bring in both Shekhar and Sanjay ji here. Shekhar ji, I'd like to start with you. If you could, make us understand, because all of us have been talking about and the general public is also aware in terms of, the importance of Lingayats and Vokalingas and other social groups in Karnataka's political landscape. Major leaders like BSY representing the Lingayat, social group, Vokalinga leaders are also there. But historically speaking, the political and electoral importance or influence of these two groups and others as well, of course, in the state.
Well, Congress has had a problem with Lingayats, ever since there was a split in the Congress, and the seniors like Nijalingappa and other leaders who belong to Lingayat community, they were, because of the developments in the Congress, and subsequently what happened was they felt sidelined. After that, the Lingayat community was looking for support, and BJP became a natural choice for Lingayats. As far as Vokalingas are concerned, because of lot of Lingayat support for BJP has not been able to develop a good leadership among the Vokalingas on its side, which they have been trying to correct. Now, JDS, as we have discussed earlier, has been totally counting on the Vokalinga identity factor, which is with the Devagowda family, and it's in the old Mysore belt. Now, in terms of percentages, it is generally BD Vokalingas make up about 15% of the population. Lingayats are about 17%. And these two factors, are very important. For Congress this time, if it has to, get closer to 100 seats, then it has to win over some Lingayat support. That is a big challenge for Congress this time. See, Siddaramaiah, if you recall, last time tried to, create a quota within Lingayat, try to differentiate between Veerashaivas and Lingayat, and that actually did not work because it backfired last time. Now, this time, their attempt is to see that more number of Lingayat leaders are given tickets so that they are able to woo the Lingayat community also. That's one part of it. The other part, what we are seeing is, as it was mentioned, BJP has been, of course, they have the Lingayat support. That is why the importance of Yediyurappa, that's one factor. But the other factor also, they have also realized they should not be seen as simply only Lingayat party. I mean, this has been a long-term goal of BJP in Karnataka, that they should expand their base among other communities which include Vakalingas as well as other non-Lingayat communities. So that exercise has also been going on. So along with this, I think for the BJP, the challenge is because, civic issues, particularly take for Bangalore. Bangalore has been under the BJP's, the Bangalore municipal corporation has been under BJP. So often what happens in assembly election, the civic problems of Bangalore, they come to the fore and is pointed out as, these are governance issues which raise question mark as to BJP's, ability to deliver on governance.
Okay.
This happened in 2018 also. I mean, despite that, BJP got more number of seats. So this governance issue is also there. Of course, Bommai has a different image. Bommai is seen as the cleanest among the lot of politicians today in Karnataka. So he does bring up, and his style, his soft approach is seen as more accommodative. But at the same time, election is one of the highly polarized elections. You have had run up to hijab issue. You have had the issues like extremism in the coastal belt, which has been matched by both sides. Some of the Hindu groups have also been very active in the field.
Okay.
So this is what.
Okay. Okay, clearly those are the issues there. We'll come back to you, Shekharji, again. But Sanjay ji, in terms of numbers, the number game or the data analysis which we do, and you were earlier talking about the vote percentage of these political parties as well. Now, if we juxtapose this vis-a-vis the social groups which we're talking about, Vokalingas, Lingayats, or SC, STs, OBCs, other minority groups as well. How do you see the equation moving ahead over a period of time in various elections? We know the traditional vote banks as well, but has that shifted to some extent?
Has it shifted to some extent? I think yes. If you look at the rise in Karnataka, that is over last say 10-15 years. But look at the vote share of the three different parties, and that will give you an indication that the shift of votes of different communities from one party to another is not the kind of shift we see in many other states. It is very, very stable. And that is why Congress has normally got, say, 34-35% vote. And BJP, except there is one exception when BJP's vote share went down to 20% when Yediyurappa left the party. But if you look at BJP's vote share, BJP also gets roughly about 30-31% vote. JDS, as I have already mentioned earlier, JDS gets 20% vote. So the kind of advantage Congress used to have nationally earlier, that advantage Congress still remains in Karnataka. It has disappeared in all other states, which is the Rainbow Coalition. So if you look at the vote share of the Congress, yes, Congress has a sizable vote share among the Muslims, amongst the Dalits, among Adivasis. Dalits are almost 13-14% of the population. So these are the three groups among which Congress gets a very sizable number of votes. Christians are not in sizable number, little less than 2%, but even among the Christian, Congress has got a sizable number of votes. When I say sizable number, this is above 50%. This is in the range of 60-65% vote.
Okay.
But if you look at other castes also, look at the Vokaligas. So Vokaligas votes goes en bloc to JDS. But that doesn't mean that Congress doesn't get a share of votes. Even among them, the Congress has got roughly about 25-30% votes among the Vokaligas. Lingayat, we keep talking about BJP's support base among Lingayat, especially because of Yediyurappa. But if we look at the Lingayat vote, even among Lingayat, Congress has got roughly 21-25% votes among the Lingayat over last 3-4 elections. This is not the case in like if you look at the UP, Bihar or some other state where Congress is very, very marginalized. So Congress gets vote only among a few sections of voters. It is completely, it has disappeared among other sections of voters. That's not the case in Karnataka.
Okay.
As I said, even in the upper caste, among the other OBCs. So it still attracts a rainbow coalition. And that is what gives advantage to the Congress, at least. And the advantage Congress always had, though it is a different story that the vote share of the Congress has not got converted into seats to their advantage. It has always been to the advantage of the BJP. But Congress still remains a rainbow coalition. The support base of the Congress still remains a rainbow coalition.
Okay.
And we have not seen a massive shift of any communities from one party to the other. At least if I look at the last 4 assembly elections.
Okay. But Sanjay ji, one more aspect here when we are looking at numbers, and that is this issue of internal tussle or rebel candidates or turncoats as well. Now, as our panelists were also pointing out that in a triangular contest like this, perhaps rebels from Congress and BJP may end up, contesting on the JDS tickets. So how does this rebel situation also bring changes? And how has it moved in the past as well? Because the Karnataka Assembly, we've seen fractured mandate earlier also, and no party getting majority for quite a few terms now.
No, I think the rebels can play an important role in a sense for the victory or the defeat of the party. The recently held Himachal Pradesh Assembly election, BJP lost, though it lost marginally in terms of vote share. But if you look at the number of seats, BJP lost by a huge margin. And there were other factors which affected BJP's electoral prospects in Himachal. But I think one of the important factors was large number of defectors or
rebel candidates,
rebels from the BJP.
Mm-hmm.
I think since the vote share difference is not much between Congress and BJP over last several elections, if the party which has larger number of defectors, I think the party would be at a disadvantageous position. I think BJP is struggling to finalize the name. At this moment, it gives me a sense that Congress is more confident in going into the election. They have already announced roughly about 160, 170 candidates. JDS has also made an announcement of 90 candidates. So it is the BJP which is more susceptible to the defectors or people who would remain unhappy after the names are announced by the party.
Okay.
So if it is the case with the Congress, the likelihood of such case emerging with the Congress is slightly less because, as I mentioned, Congress has already announced names of 170 candidates, roughly 170. BJP is still to announce even the single name.
Okay.
So the defectors will definitely play an important role. We have to just keep an eye on which party
how it moves ahead in terms of who gets the ticket. And as you're pointing out, clearly it becomes really important as to how the political parties, all three of them, manage the aspirations of their own leaders, their own candidates, those who aspire to contest these elections and figure prominently as well. Let's now move on to another important aspect, and that is the issues in the elections this time around. All of you spoke about certain issues. For example, BJP trying to do that social engineering so that it can broaden its base vis-a-vis other social groups in the state as well. Development being one issue. Corruption being another issue. So how big are these issues in this election, corruption and development, and which one might be more important, both from the perspective of the ruling, that is the BJP ruling party, and the opposition as well?
See, the BJP faces double anti-incumbency because they are in power in Karnataka also, they are power in the center also.
But that anti-incumbency has not stopped BJP from winning elections in the past in other
absolutely,
states.
That was my next point. That has been proved wrong in many states, including Uttar Pradesh, etc. But in Karnataka, the Congress is specifically targeting corruption issues, saying that 40% government. Chief Minister takes a cut of 40% for everything. The BJP government is the most corrupt in the entire Karnataka history. That's what they try to portray.
Okay.
Congress has a strong point. And then there were massive floods.
But there have been allegations against the Congress leaders
Congress as well. When
as well as
the
JDS.
Congress was in power. JDS, you don't have to, I mean, everybody knows about it. Last year, there were massive floods in Bangalore and nearby areas. And there have been several deaths because of potholes on the roads, accidents, etc. happened. So the civic issues will also play an important role locally. But all over the state, what about the employment? What about economic development? And what about people enjoying their liberty? Like, for example, the hijab issue was a very violent kind of protest in the Mangalore coastal region. Then we even have Tipu Sultan as an election issue. So Karnataka is far more complex than what we think. But all the core issues will be tied. Development, because development gives employment. Without development, where is the employment? And then corruption. Corruption means development is affected. So therefore, that is the indirect cause for unemployment. So that is why the Congress is harping on that. The BJP, on the other hand, has a trump card. That is Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Indeed.
I mean, even yesterday also he was there. So many projects have been announced for Karnataka, big bang announcement, and I'm sure the run-up to the election, he will campaign there almost with massive rallies in every region of the state.
Okay.
And the rebellion, as Akhilesh pointed out, will be probably less in BJP because they have a very tight control.
Way of dealing with these issues.
Congress, because it is divided into two camps, probably there may be more.
Okay.
So therefore, these issues, each and every one will be important.
Okay. Akhilesh ji, when we look at the issues, apart from the fact that the social engineering part, the issues on the ground like Ganpati is pointing out, development, corruption, employment, civic issues as well becomes really important. And of course, the other controversies which have happened over the course of 4 or 5 years.
See, this is the difference between the strategy BJP has been following and other parties. We kept hearing about anti-incumbency. Now 10-15 years we are hearing about pro-incumbency. Now BJP is talking about double engine governments. Wherever they have a state government, they have a central government for the past 9 years. So they have coined this phrase pro-incumbency, and they talk about the works they have been doing. If you look at the budget, the state budget, I just went through before coming, they claim to be the highest employment rate is the highest in Karnataka. Development index, they have been ranked #1, investments also. Plus, if you talk about the image of Chief Minister Bommai, you can make allegations against him. But
so they've covered almost all aspects.
Yeah, but I don't think that a person like Bommai will be seen with, suspicion by people of Karnataka. You can make allegations, that is okay, and there might be people who you can make allegations of corruption against them. But I don't think it is going to stick with as far as Basavaraj Bommai is concerned.
Okay.
So they are contesting, and these welfare schemes of central government, the DBTs and the farmers the help which is being given, plus Jan Dhan. These are the initiatives, central schemes, and the 80 crore people getting free ration for such a long time.
Okay.
So these are definitely going to play a key role, which we have seen even in states like UP.
Okay.
There is no doubt Himachal, they suffered because of lots of rebellions. 35,000 votes they got less than Congress, and they lost the entire state.
Now that's also a different story. That's why elections are a very interesting affair to look at as to which way they will finally end up being. Shekhar ji, final concluding comments from you, a quick one on the issues part, and looking at it from both sides, from the perspective of political parties as to what are the challenges they face, and then what is it that the voters in Karnataka might be looking forward to this time around?
Well, voters of Karnataka are seized with the local issues. That is why the Karnataka Congress leaders are conveying to Team Rahul Gandhi, do not bring issues like Adani and all here, which will get diverted. They want to focus on the governance issues of the last 5 years. In fact, I understand Siddaramaiah and even Shiv Kumar they have conveyed to aides of Rahul Gandhi, let us focus on what happened in Karnataka in the last 5 years. But one does not know when he addresses from Kolar, because the meeting in Kolar set for April 16th is to commemorate that statement that he had made in 2019, that which resulted in he being convicted in the defamation case and subsequently losing Lok Sabha. So Rahul Gandhi may be tempted to raise this same Adani issue in Karnataka.
Okay.
And already you are seeing what is happening to Adani issue, with Sharad Pawar openly coming out against, constantly harping on one particular issue. So you are already seeing the opposition unity and its impact on the image of the Congress, as the leading partner of opposition, is already suffering a setback.
Okay.
So if the campaign is limited to local issues, the BJP will be on the back foot. But at the same time, with the Prime Minister's campaign, one can see a fierce, effort by the BJP to somehow, change the narrative in Karnataka.
Okay, fair enough. Clearly, looks like, all political parties will try to play on their advantage and on their opponent's disadvantage there when it comes to issues and, of course, the strategy as well. Thank you so much, Shekhar Iyer ji. Thank you, Sanjay Kumar ji as well, and Ganpati and Akhilesh for joining us here in the studio. So this was all a very detailed analysis of the Karnataka Assembly elections, the electoral battleground in the southern state. We're witnessing a very interesting election out there. BJP, the incumbent ruling party, trying to make a comeback in the state. The Congress and the JDS, the other two players, are of course looking forward to victory as well. JDS trying to become the kingmaker or an important political player this time around as well. We'll keep a close watch on the developing political and electoral situation in the state and issues as well, and keep on bringing you detailed analysis. In addition to that, we'll also take a look at other important issues which are in focus at 1 p.m. every day. Tomorrow again, we'll come back. Till then, keep watching Sunset Television.